Welcome to the Farmers Union Insurance pregame show. I'm Lauren Hill, and I'm joined by Ken Oda and Edward Nieman, and we are getting you ready for our first game ever against the Minnesota Mallards. So, like I just said, this is our first time playing the Mallards ever. They are a new team. That means this is your first time ever traveling to Forest Lake, Minnesota. Edward, how are we feeling about just like the new expansion team, Minnesota, all the things?
Yeah, definitely excited. I think, this weekend serves as an opportunity for both teams, really. But, I guess from our perspective, the Toros to set the tone in the season series and just against this Mallards team. So definitely excited. Toros back on the road, took 3 or 4 at home. So obviously coming in with some momentum, and we'll see how things play out both tonight and tomorrow.
All right, well, let's take a look at last Saturday's 5-0 shutout against the Aberdeen Wings.
Yeah, Lauren, a good performance from the Toros once again. I guess different from Friday night in that series. Toros or Aberdeen did not get on the board in the first period. Then it was 2 defensemen, Adam Mahler and Jordan Gibbs, getting the Toros the 2-0 lead at the first intermission. Toros never looked back. Got another good defensive performance from the Toros, as well as good goaltending. Obviously, like Lauren mentioned, a 9-0 shutout for the Toros, both Mazenko and Lucas Fedin getting shutouts. So, definitely some momentum against a rival in which the Toros saw for the first time last weekend.
Yeah, first or second time ever in franchise history they blank a team on the weekend. The last time came all the way back September 28th and 29th of 2018, a 13-0 weekend over the Brookings Blizzard. So yeah, a good effort overall. Can't really complain about much. Even the penalty kill only had to come out one time all weekend. So just a dominating effort from start to finish.
Yeah, I agree. Very dominating weekend. So talking about that, now let's turn our attention back to tonight's game against the Mallards. Let's look at the updated Noodles numbers brought to you by Noodles and Company of Minot. So with that shutout last weekend, the Minotaurs record has increased to 11-5-1, as we are now 4th in the division, and the Mallards are 7th in the division at 6-13-1. Like I said before, we don't really have any head-to-head prior just statistics in general because we have not played this team ever. But as far as our numbers go, we have better averages, goals per game, and as well as goals against. Theirs is a lot higher than ours.
Yeah, their offense has struggled even more so of late. Just 18 goals in their last 10 games, so only 1.8 goals over the last 10. The last 9 games, they've been shut out 4 times. So a chance for the Toros to maybe rewrite the franchise record book a little bit. But even if they don't do that, just a chance for the Toros to maybe put up some good numbers this weekend overall.
Yeah, Lauren, you look at this Mallards team coming in on a 7-game losing streak. So if you're the Mallards, you're just looking for anything, I think, at this point. Especially a start back at home last weekend, playing Austin, now being back in their home building, just looking for something. So if the Toros, especially defensively, goals against per game, 1.82, if you make things tough offensively on this Minnesota team early, I think the Toros are in a really good position to get on the board early and to once again hold the lead like they did both Friday and Saturday night of last weekend.
Yeah, and I think it's an interesting thing to point out. I typically do point this out when the number is bigger than I feel like it should be. We've talked about this in the sense that we've kept our penalty minutes down fairly well throughout the beginning of the season. But I think it's an interesting thing to point out that the Mallards penalty minutes totaled 345 as their record is 6-13-1. I just find that to be an interesting stat.
Yeah, discipline certainly hasn't been their strong suit, at least through their first 20 games as a franchise.
Yes. All right. Well, we'll be back with more of the Farmers Union Insurance pregame show after a quick word from our partners.
The Four Bears Casino Sportsbook has a new look. Enjoy Vegas-style betting in comfort. Play and qualify to win trips to Vikings or Raiders NFL games. Order a drink at the dedicated bar. Then kick back in a lounger and watch the full wall display. Feel the action all the way to the final moment and claim your winnings. Book it for private draft parties or game day too. Visit the remodeled Sportsbook at Four Bears Casino and Lodge, 4 miles west of Newtown.
Welcome back to the Farmers Union Insurance pregame show. It's time to look at our Minotauros Booster Club players to watch, starting with Ken's choice.
I'm going to go with Lucas Sweden. I mentioned it during the Noodles numbers. Offense has been an issue, especially of late for the Mallards, shut out 4 times in the last 9 games. Meanwhile, Lucas, third in goals against, average 1.415, second in save percentage, 9.507 in the league. His numbers have been strong. They were strong last year too, where he would have been top 5 in both of those had he played enough games to qualify, having not joined us until after the Christmas break. So I look for Lucas to continue to be strong and possibly extend. The Toros as a team have not allowed a goal in 130 minutes and 39 seconds. That's not too far off from a franchise record. So I look for Lucas to maybe help push the Toros over the record at some point during tonight's game.
Yeah, Lauren, we talk about unfamiliarity, at least as far as the Mallards go, and playing in a new barn. But I'm going to take Chuck Owens, the guy who is familiar with this place, native out of Sunfish Lake, Minnesota, just outside of St. Paul. Back in his days at Cretin-Durham Hall, he played against the Forest Lake team, played in that building. One of his last games in that building, recorded an assist. So a guy who maybe has a little familiarity with this building and with this area and some of the local talent out of here. So I anticipate him to be one of the more comfortable guys out there tonight.
Awesome choices. Yeah, kind of going off of Edwards' native of Minnesota pull there. I'm going with Jordan Gibbs. He is a native of the Redwood Falls area of Minnesota. He also had a very good weekend last weekend against Aberdeen. Granted, a lot of our players did with the weekend shutout, but he's had 13 shots on goal so far this season and has only been able to get 1 in the net. But I think this could be like a heating up moment, as well as the fact that he is back in his home state. And we always love to see that. So that will bring us to our home key group keys to the game. Ken, what are your keys to tonight's game against the Mallards?
I think first off, new opponent, you got to set the tone early, so the Toros need to get off to a good start. We mentioned that the Mallards have been struggling of late as well. So if you can pop 1 or 2 early, kind of push them down, maybe, as beat up as they are through the last few weeks, they get that here we go again feeling, and then the Toros are able to pull away. Second key to the game would be play fast. The Toros team speed has been an asset all year. We haven't seen the Mallards yet this year. I'll be honest, I haven't gone back and watched a full game of theirs yet either. So I don't have a ton of scouting report on these guys, but no reason to believe if the Toros team speed has been problems for other teams that it wouldn't be for the Mallards as well. And then the third key is just discipline. We mentioned the penalty minute differential. Also, last weekend, the Toros only had to kill 1 penalty all weekend. You continue to do that when you have a better record than teams, when you are a better team than another team. One of the easiest ways to let a team into the game is to give them a bunch of power play opportunities. The Toros don't do that. I think it'll be a good weekend for the Toros.
Yeah, Ken, I think all 3 of those things are what we saw on display for the Toros last weekend. I think a good start was definitely one of my biggest takeaways of last weekend. Toros finally in 2 consecutive games getting on the board first and then holding that lead. There were a couple times prior to last week where the Toros were able to pop one early, but then had to come from behind. So I think that's been a difference maker for the Toros, playing a really good first period and a really good start, and that puts them in a good position tonight.
And we will be back with more of the Farmers Union Insurance pregame show after this commercial break.
When you carry blue, you get a devoted team backing you up, focused on you and your well-being, making it easier and affordable for you to make health a priority. When you carry blue, you get a health plan that anticipates your challenges, that's helping shape the future of healthcare, with more helpful tools and resources so you can get the most out of your benefits and focus more on living your best life. Find your plan today. Blue Cross Blue Shield of North Dakota. Carry blue. Carry on.
Minotauros fans, it's time to take out your phones and pull out the Taros mobile app for your chance to win prizes throughout tonight's game. Starting with our 4 Bears Sportsbook over-unders, we have total Taros first period goals over-under 0.5.
I'm going to take the over here. I think looking at the Noodles numbers earlier, These guys are giving up 4.2 goals a game. That's the fourth most in the league. They're giving up over a goal a period, so no reason to think that the Toros won't get one in the first period.
Yeah, I'm also going to take the over for all the reasons that Ken just mentioned. And then, like I mentioned before, I think the starts have been important for the Toros and definitely a point of emphasis. So I expect them to continue that trend today.
Yeah, I'm going to go over with this one too. Based on Noodle's numbers and backing up Ken's key to the game, his first key to the game. Yeah, I'm going to go over. I think that's a solid win there. Our second one is total Taros shorthanded goals over under 0.5. I'm going to go over for this one. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to go over for all of these. I just think it. Yeah, I mean, just based on the Noodles numbers and what we know so far about this season and how we've been doing and how they've been doing, I'm going to go over.
I'm going to take the under on this one. I can see both sides of it. Maybe being a little different. I'll take the under though. You look at a Mallards team, 7-game losing streak, trying to get back on track. Perhaps maybe an attempt at least to be a little more disciplined, coming in playing a really good Toros team.
I'm going to take the under as well. The Mallards have struggled defensively, but they have only allowed one shorthanded goal all year so far. So as tempting as is to pick the over, just the Toros have 3 shorthanded goals on the year. The Mallards have been pretty good when they are up a man and not allowing offensive chances the other way.
And that will lead us to our last one, which is the total Taros goals, and that is over under 3.5.
I'm going to take the over on this one. As we mentioned, the goals against the Mallards per game, just over 4. So the Toros are just going to have to stay on the average on that one, and we'll hit the over.
Like I said, I'm going to go over on all these. Yeah, I'm going over.
Yeah, I'm going to take the over as well. Toros offense has been clicking, defense has been clicking, and the Mallards have been struggling at both ends of the ice of late. I think 3.5 Toros go over on that as well. That'll bring us to our McDonald's Toros trivia question. What is the longest team shutout streak in Toro history? We talked about Toros shut out the Wings last weekend, both games. I mentioned they've only done that once before. That was in 2018 against the then Brookings Blizzard, now the St. Cloud Norsemen. So what is the longest run of time between goals for a Toros opponent? Is it 130 minutes and 39 seconds, 140 minutes and 36 seconds, 157 minutes and 11 seconds, or 163 minutes and 42 seconds? Any guesses?
Edward, I'm going to let you guess first.
I'll take 157. I don't know. I guess that would average out to a little more than 2.5 games, maybe somewhere around there. So, yeah.
I should have gone first because I was going to go for that one. I'm still going to go for that one. 157, 11. I think that's a good number, as well as the fact that, I don't know, I feel like the first 2 are a little too close to it being kind of what Ken mentioned earlier. We're close to reaching it, but I think that would just be, he would have been more excited about it if it was one of those. So yeah, I'm going 157, 11. And that will lead us to if y'all have any closing things to say about tonight's game.
Well, Ken, I don't think you want to overlook any opponent. We talked about the Toros, the importance of the back-to-back weekend homestand. Toros take 3 of 4, have momentum, especially with the shutout last weekend. Playing an expansion team, an opportunity to set the tone and gain even more momentum before you get into a big game on Wednesday night against the Bismarck Bobcats, who are at this point leading the Central Division.
Yeah, I think if there's been one thing you look at over the last couple of years for Cody Campbell, this team doesn't usually overlook opponents, right? So, coming in, you look at the records, you look at where these teams are in the standings, you look at all of the Noodles numbers, all of it. It all points to a Toros win. Typically, Cody Campbell keeps these guys focused, especially on the road. I think when there's less chance of distraction, they're all in the hotel. They're all focused on the game. So I think overall, this should be a Toros weekend sweep. But there's a reason they play the games, right?
All right, well, that'll do it for the Farmers Union Insurance pregame show. We'll send you out for one more break, and then Edward will be back with the drop of the puck right here on Minotauros Network.